Last week, we visited Ravine Gardens State Park, which is a favorite spot of ours in early spring, and it has become a tradition to visit each year when the azaleas are in full bloom. The best way to describe this 146-acre forest is that it's full of scrub oak trees, live oak trees, massive ancient magnolias, cypress trees, and then scattered with palm trees, which is a pretty classic landscape for Central Florida. However, unlike other forests, this one has an underbrush that is almost purely azalea bushes. If you happen to stroll through the trails in January or February, then you'll be treated to a flowering utopia, a wide variety of pinks dotting the entire scene in all directions. It is such a treat. In 1933, the ravines were transformed into a dramatic garden by the Federal Works Progress Administration. Some of the original landscaping still exists as formal gardens, especially towards the front beginning section of the park. And then the 5 acres of formal gardens dissolve into the forest by a series of crumbling stone steps that lead you to a unique system of wild trails in a stunning natural landscape. But with the injection of 40,000 azaleas that were planted in the early 1930s, and also in the late 30s, another 270,000 plants were added. The garden's peak flowering period is during azalea season, which is between January to March, but this year the azaleas peaked in early February. The hundreds of remaining azaleas have a rolling bloom and top out with about 50% to 60% of the plants blooming simultaneously. A recent survey documented 18 different types of azaleas growing in the forest. Interspersed with the azaleas are also camellias, which also bloom during this season and are reminiscent to me of roses. The state park does not keep up with social media, but if you search the hashtag Ravine Gardens State Park on Instagram, you will surely see recent images from people who have just finished their hike. By monitoring this hashtag, you can tell if it's peak season for the azaleas or not. There are 4 trails that wind their way around the forest, ranging from half a mile to 2.5 miles, but I recommend just taking whichever path beckons you, as they all seem to crisscross one another at some point. In total, it's about 5.5 miles of trails. At several points on the trails, you will become aware of the ravines that the forest is named after. There are 2 ravines that are 70 to 120 feet deep, with steep banks set at 45-degree angles. The ravines are covered in ferns, trees, and azaleas, and at the bottom is a spring-fed creek that never dries up. It's called Whitewater Branch. The spring was certainly my children's favorite part. It is mostly ankle deep, and the cool water is so inviting and refreshing after a hot Florida hike. I packed the girls' swimsuits because I just knew they wouldn't be able to resist getting in. We found a shady spot near the creek with a picnic bench and just let them attempt to catch minnows for over an hour and enjoyed the scenery. Another favorite spot is the huge suspension bridge that crosses over the ravine. You may also stumble upon an old amphitheater that was created in 1938. The park's amphitheater is a scenic place to rest, and it even has a shaded area for picnicking. In the winter, this stage seems to come alive with azalea blooms, and in the spring and early summer, the grass seating areas are left to bloom with beautiful wildflowers. If you come by to visit, there is free parking at the very front entrance and a gate where you can walk into the gardens and enjoy a long, formal garden flanked by pergolas and dotted with water fountains. However, if you drive into the gardens to get closer parking spots, then it's a $5 entrance fee. There is a nice building with bathrooms inside and a covered pavilion with picnic benches. We opted to enjoy our lunch at the pavilion first and then store the heavy basket back in our car so we could enjoy our hike without so much stuff being carried around. I'm going to pause here so you can enjoy these scenes of the kids enjoying the creek, and I will tell you a little bit more in just a moment. And as everyone in our area knows, you cannot visit Palatka or Hastings, Florida without stopping at County Line to grab some local produce. You would be doing yourself a disservice not to try out the delicious vegetables they have available at this big open-air market stand. This year, 2022, marks the 57th season that this market stand has been here. This long-standing, cash-only market is located off of State Road 207. The owners of the produce stand are corn farmers, and if you see Silver Queen corn available, be sure to stock up. The local picks from area farmers are fresher and more affordable than what you would find in a grocery store. So be sure to swing by with some cash. We are always delighted with our haul.